Welcome back to Let's Start a Band podcast. We are very lucky to have the incredible Urban Theory from Manchester, bringing us some indie post-punk. Now, guys, if me and Tom Westwell were to start a band, we were going to come into Urban Theory and see what it was like. What would shock us most about the way you guys work and make music?
To be fair, I think a lot of the way we make music is I think we bring an idea, an element to the room, and then I think we just kind of let everyone kind of go a bit crazy in the studio. I think a lot of the best ideas just come from jamming and just playing music for hours and seeing what we come up with. We could be playing for 5 minutes and come up with a song that's one of our favorite songs, or we could be playing for 3 hours and then get nothing. But yeah, it is heavily, in the room, playing together constantly, just trying to find anything we can push.
If we were to look at the set list from our last gig, I genuinely couldn't tell you where half of those songs came from.
Yeah.
I don't know what fact they just happened.
That's the best
There's,
way. That is
I
Oh,
think
the
there
that's the
was
best thing about it. It just happens. It's brilliant.
there was one night I remember in particular, I think where we were sort of like, right, we need to really put our heads together here. And we were just pulling like ideas out of the woodwork. Obviously, I've been in the band since like February time now, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Um, and we've just pulled ideas out that we've just like put together and sort of left. We realized we had such a big slot to play. We were like, wow, we've got a lot of material to play with and perfect. So it's
And
been
there we
good.
go, and we're on this journey now with Urban Theory, and it's going to be Sunrise next year. We're going to find all about it. The first section we're going to play, guys, is Would You Rather. I want one person to shout it out, and we're sticking with that answer. So be brave. If you want to say it, come out and say it. Question number one: Would you rather one brilliant song that no one hears, or one mid song but pays for everyone's rent?
Ooh. The
One mid
artist.
song that paid for everyone's rent.
Yeah, definitely.
Back yourself, game. Back yourself. Would you rather be compared to a legendary band forever, or never compared at all?
Ooh.
Not compared, I think.
Never compared
Yeah,
at
not
all.
compared.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
You want to be the person that people are going to be compared to, I guess. You want to be on the
yeah,
flip side of that coin, so
definitely.
Love that. Would you rather one big festival slot or 10 packed club shows?
One big
Ooh.
festival.
Would you rather write
Agreed.
alone forever or compromise in a room?
Compromise in a room.
Be respected by musicians or loved by fans?
Loved
Loved
by
by
fans.
fans.
Yeah.
It gotta be, hasn't it? It's gotta be. Would you
Yeah.
rather the perfect debut or a strong third album?
Strong third album, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, have to
I think
think
the
about
debut
that.
the debut could always fall down, but we've seen that plenty of times. Lots of debuts do very well, and then, they don't know where to go from there. So it's really interesting. Like, I think it's really important that you kind of carry on elevating.
Absolutely. Right. I want to find out a little bit more about you guys and dive deep into urban theory. My first question is, what does Manchester give bands that London just doesn't have?
Don't know really, not probably much. No, I'm joking. No, I guess it's a completely different city. London's huge. London's got a lot more venues and kind of potentially opportunities in a wider space. Obviously, there's more bands, but I think Manchester is has a lot of bands and a lot of musicians in a very crammed, small area. So I think sometimes it is challenging in Manchester because, I think if there was more venues out there that were, investing in bands and also investing in their sound of the clubs and the venues, I think it would be a better place. I think, but the venues now across the UK are struggling, aren't they? So yeah, it's very difficult to say the difference between Manchester and London. I don't know if you guys have anything else to say about that,
I
Joshua.
always refer to Manchester, particularly in a music sense, as being like that loft insulation. Because there's loads of bands and there's lots going on, but it sort of has a tendency to keep everything in. Not deliberately,
Yeah,
not by design, but the environment that's built, it sometimes can make it quite hard to get out of it.
It's really interesting because from an outsider, I really put Manchester on the music map, and that's like almost like at the forefront of it and at the edge and pushing things forward. But as you guys, as insiders, having a different perspective. It is quite interesting to hear that, really. It's quite shocking to hear. I want to know, what does post-punk actually mean to you guys as a genre? Why do you think it resonates with you and your audience?
I love post punk for me. It's for me, I struggle with genres for one, but post punk is the closest thing we can talk about it because a lot of the bands that we're inspired by were obviously classed as post punk, but we feel that it's still a genre of music that captures the past. Still, you hear elements of music that kind of you hear the 80s, you hear the 90s, you hear these periods of time that are still kept within music. I think other genres now are kind of, you say rock music or something like that. I know, and obviously post punk's a subgenre, but it's very, very difficult to kind of, yeah, it's difficult with genres. I don't know. It's post punk is just something that I guess we look at our bands that we are inspired by, put them together, and kind of, class ourselves as that. I
I
don't.
think sort of post punk's always been quite kind of forward facing as well. And if you think like Joy
Yeah.
Division, for example, are classed as post punk, but they sounded completely different when they came about. And you can get bands of that ilk now that still sound new and different, but still fall under the post punk bracket, I suppose.
100%. It's really interesting hearing that. Like you said, Joy Division was such, again, at the front, this one saying about Manchester
Well,
and
this
being
is the
there.
thing, Josh. Manchester, I think people have this misconception that from the past, Manchester was the best. That was the place, wasn't it? It had everything, and I think slowly but surely it's draining, and people are not nurturing as much maybe in Manchester and focusing on what kind of. I know it's hard, and the word of originality is always hard because it's not a thing. It is very difficult to become original now, but I think they were original. They had at the time they came through and they made something. They made a sound that was like a representation of what was going on in Manchester and what was going on in the UK. Whereas now I feel like in Manchester it's very much people take that inspiration and struggle to find somewhat originality in it, and it feels like there's a lot of copy and paste, churned up the same stuff in
I worry
Manchester.
sometimes that with Manchester as well, people from the outside looking in, they love the music of bands from Manchester from like years going back, but they like it that much that they want bands coming from Manchester now to sound like those bands from Manchester.
Yeah,
Mm,
And it's kind
yeah,
of created
Yeah.
this own sort of culture that it's quite sort of really it's quite hard to define when you look into it like deeply. But it's kind of I don't know, yeah, it can we know some bands that where it's put a bit of a ceiling on them and it's made it really hard for them to really get anywhere, if that
yeah.
makes sense.
Go anywhere else. It's kind of
Yeah.
stop the chances of diverting their sound to try and experiment other things. So yeah,
amazing. No, guys, it's really important points to talk about. I feel like it's you've definitely opened my mind into a different perspective. And like I said, people trying to put new bands and older bands boxes, it shouldn't really be that way. Which is really interesting. Right, we're going to move on to some fan questions now. Thank you so much, everyone that's been listening at home. The Spotify growth has been unbelievable. So many countries around the world tuning into this podcast, finding the next big thing, the next big upcomers. Urban Theory this week on Go and check their stuff out. It is incredible. We've started up the YouTube now. It's starting slow and small, but support us on there. We appreciate it. Tom, we've had some amazing questions come on to you as my co-host. And the first question from Jess says, which bandmate is most likely to get killed first in the zombie apocalypse? A drummer, a bass, guitarist, or singer?
I'm safe.
Can I take the lead on this one and
I'll
put
probably
put
I'll
our
probably say the
drummer?
drummer. I'll probably say the drummer. Ollie, he'd forget.
Yeah, I think I'd say drummer. I think like a drummer would be like first in there, like trying to fight the zombies.
No, I think
Maybe.
our drummer would be happy to be a zombie, to be honest with
He
you.
looks like a zombie most of the time, to be fair.
I absolutely love that. You never know, do you? Like, I don't know. Bassists always they always give that look. I don't know. A bassist I think might be able to, swing around a little bit better. I'm not sure. Do they have the equipment on them? I think that's the question I'd ask Jess. Like,
Yeah, what's coming in more handy? Have you got to carry the equipment with you? Because like if a zombie apocalypse happens and you've got to leg it, like I think carrying a couple of guitars is all right, but having to pack up an entire drum kit is a little bit more challenging.
Yeah, but you could bowl them at them, couldn't you? You could knock those
Yeah,
of them
very
over.
true. Yeah, very true.
Yeah, I'll be screwed with just a microphone.
Dan has
Fresh bit
asked.
the cymbals.
Dan has asked Westwell. He said, "I'm really enjoying the podcast. Thank you so much. It really entertains me on my way home from work." And they've asked, Dan has asked, would you prefer to have a PA that is too I'll read this probably. A PA that's too quiet for a big show, or have a full-on PA which is great sounding, but halfway through stops? If so, what do you do in that situation? So would you rather a small PA that gets you through but is a bit quiet, or a full one that might have a full-blown meltdown? But what would you do in that situation if you did go
I
for
would
that?
say the second option because at least people have heard the songs to its full extent, for how many two, three songs they've got. But, you know, I think I've struggled for so many years going to venues and playing with it. Someone comes and they go, I couldn't hear your vocals, or you couldn't hear the guitar, or you couldn't hear this because the PA wasn't, up to scratch. So at least if people got two or three songs to its full, max capacity, they'd be entertained for them two or three
But
songs,
look,
then hopefully
what
buy a ticket for another gig.
but what are you guys gonna do? Like everything's off. Everything's
I'll
what do
just
you do in
just
that
walk off, would
situation?
you?
I'll
Wouldn't
just
you?
sing
I'd just
to
walk
them.
off.
Sing some
I'd have an
Fuzzy.
early night. I'd have an
No,
early
no, we
night and
just
just
walk
go
off,
home.
and if it's good enough, they buy another ticket for the next show. So yeah.
Very true. Next one. This is from Amelia. She's asked Westwell, if you could delete one song from existence, what would it be and why?
I wouldn't delete any. No music's getting deleted.
If we had to
It's still
pick you
got.
for one though.
It's all got a place. I don't know. Wonderwall.
Oh no.
Ooh.
I love Wonderwall. I'm sticking up for it.
Nah.
I'm not having it. Right, Westwell, we're gonna move on to your segment, my man. Take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is only what night is it? Tuesday night, but it's time to join us for the pub quiz. So I don't know how you want to do this. Do you want to do the guests versus you, Josh, or should we split it down the middle teams?
Oh God, do guest versus me. Go on. I'll take them all.
Okay, all right. So we got Urban Theory taking on Josh. So this is 10 questions. I've got a mid 90s to early 2000s quiz. So hopefully this is we tried one the other week and I just got the genre completely wrong for the artist. I had no idea. So yeah, let's kick this off. Do you want to take it in turns? We'll shout out the answer. Just shout out the answer as soon as you know it. Which band released the single The Drowners, often credited with helping ignite Britpop?
Got a guess. Hope.
No. But you're not far off. Not far off, I don't think.
Wasn't Blur, was it?
Drowners.
Not Blur.
Suede.
Spot on there, Josh. It was
That was a guess as well.
I have no clue.
I had no idea.
That's really bad. I did work for them a couple of months ago. I really know that.
Come on, Josh.
Which band scored a UK #1 album in 1995 with I Should Coco?
Supergrass.
Yes, Josh.
Spot on. Well done.
1-1.
Question number 3. Urban Hymns in 1997, one of the best-selling British albums of all time. Which group released it?
The Verve.
Spot on.
He's
Gotta
on
be quicker.
job. He's on job.
I think at this point it's just Josh versus Josh.
Yeah, me and John will just spectate.
Which band had a breakthrough album, The Man Who, released in 1999?
Travis.
Wow.
Which band released Performance and the Cocktails in 1999?
Stereophonics.
Stereophonics.
Oh, it's gonna have to go to Urban Theory on that one.
Oh, what?
Which band is fronted by Tim Burgess?
Charlatans.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, I've had 2 in a row there. This is
No,
outrageous.
you have not. There must be a connection, but you're not winning this.
Outrageous.
Which band released The Master Plan?
Oasis.
I was 2 of us there, to be fair.
We'll
Which
give Josh
group
that one.
released- Do you want that one, Josh?
I think I should have the last 3, to be honest. We'll give the guests some courtesy.
Which band released Parachutes?
Coldplay.
It's so quick.
He's
I'm
so
not, to be
quick,
honest, I'm
Josh.
not happy about getting that one, really. You can have that one.
Oh, well,
Yeah, you're sacked.
which band had a hit with Bittersweet Symphony?
The Verve.
It's so close.
Oh,
Not the
It
Verve.
was, it was the Verve. Yeah. Which band released Final Straw in 2004?
I'm not sure. No idea.
Any
No.
guesses? I'm going to guess because we haven't got them instantly that we don't know. So it's Feeder.
Oh no, I wouldn't have got that.
Very close on the scores. Mainly because we gave Josh most of them out of sympathy, but you guys absolutely smashed it. So well done, Urban Theory. This
There you
week's
go.
winners.
Right, as
Thank
part
you.
of the Let's Start a Band podcast, we've got a segment called the Set List. That's where Westwell, myself, and the guys in the band, we're going to pick one song each, and it's going to go onto our playlist. This needs to be a song that you really feel like needs more credit. That's the criteria for the set list. I'm going to go to Urban Theory first. You've got to decide one as a band. What song are you going to go for?
It needs more credit. Okay.
An underappreciated song. That's what we're looking for.
Okay. Tears by the Stone Roses.
Yeah, I'll vouch for that. Yeah.
As a band, are we agreeing? Is everyone on that?
it's a 2v1. I think I'm outvoted at this point.
Yeah, we're outvoted. It's Tears, Stone Roses.
There you go. Westwell, what are you going for?
I'm going to go with Make It With You by Queens of the Stone Age. Absolute banger. And not a go-to, I don't think, but yeah, great one.
I'm gonna go with because it's all about underrated. I'm gonna go with I Can't Hear You by the Dead Weather. And the riff in that is unbelievable. I think it's one of the best riffs ever. So we're gonna add them to our playlist, and which all of you guys can listen to on Spotify. Westwell, have you got some questions for the band?
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to come back. I just want to sort of nail into a little bit more about like how you guys go about this sort of creative process and how you go about writing music. You mentioned earlier on about sort of just getting into a room and just throwing ideas together.
Mm.
How much does like that experimentation really help you? I just want to really like, I love that idea of just locking yourselves away and just having fun with it and messing about. Is that something you've
It's like something we've kind of progressed to do over time. So obviously I've been doing this now for it's nearly 10 years, like it's 10 years since we've been doing the band, like over time. It's a long time since I was a little boy. But we've kind of I used to a lot of the time have an idea in my head and kind of bring it to practice with some lyrics and whatever. But as time's gone on and as the band's developed and individuals have been able to kind of experiment, we've just found it a lot easier to kind of come in with a basic idea now. I'm talking like a little riff, or it could be like it's something so simple, or Josh could come out of a bass line, and then we'd hear it and go, that sounds cool. We just start playing it over and over and over again. I have multiple lyrics constantly there, and we just sit there for a while and try and push something into existence. But then, as everything happens, with writing, you come to breaks and you come to gaps where you're like, how are we going to make this chorus work? How are we going to do this? The verse sounds amazing, but we can't make a chorus. So what we might do is we'll record what we've got so far, stop, and then we'll start jamming again. So eventually we come to the point where we've got like 10, 15 ideas. And then what we do is we then go back to the recordings and go, right, they sound 70% there. We'll finish this one. We'll finish that one. We'll prioritize, say, 5 songs, and they'll finish them. That's how it's worked recently. Josh, Jordan, is there anything you guys? Obviously, Jordan's new to this, so.
Well, one thing we've got really good at, and Jordan's helped us with this, is we know when to stop as well. So
yeah.
you can try and push something, and we've sort of got it. We had this sort of, I suppose, realise now that you try and push it, whatever you come up with is not going to be any good.
Almost trying to over protect, over like perfect before you're ready.
Exactly, and if we've got a song that's sort of 70% there, and we're trying to force the last 30%, we might come up with something, but can guarantee the week after we'll listen back and
Yeah,
we go, actually, we can do better
Yeah.
than that. So now we just don't push it. If we're at the point where it's not flowing naturally and we can't quite get there, then we do exactly as Alex said. We record what we've got, we park it, we move on to something else, and we've got this massive big bank of material where you've got songs that are 10% done, 99% done, songs that are just like a basic idea, and we go right. Well, we'll pick one of these and we'll spend a bit of time with that.
Yeah, amazing. One thing I really want to know as well, I love finding out from bands, is like how hard do you find it, or how much of a have you struggled with it? Because some people don't struggle with it at all, and that
It's
is like
oh, sorry,
collaborating.
go on.
Like when you've come together, because you find
Collaborating, yeah, I think it depends. Like, I think it depends on the environment of the band. At the moment, all five of us collaborating's been it's easy.
don't struggle with it at all, and
You
it's
know
natural.
it is in the past. Things change depending on who's next to you.
Yeah.
It could always change, but it only takes one element of bad energy in a room, and it's very, very difficult. You don't realize that even when everyone's good, but say if someone's not feeling too well or something's going on outside of the band, it can affect it. If there's one person that doesn't show that kind of same energy to the songwriting element of it, it's very, very difficult because you start trying to like drag their parts, and you're like, you can see that they're not as bothered. And I think that's a good thing as well, to be able to understand and think, why is this happening? Is it, we need to kind of resolve that, because you'll never write music if everyone's not in the same place. Or you'll
Absolutely.
write
Yeah.
music, but people won't enjoy the music that they're writing, and then that's when it becomes hard for certain members maybe to feel like they're part of something. And I think the golden thing to everything is that everyone is doing the
It
right
helps
thing.
with us as well that there's no egos,
Yeah, yeah.
so we can all sort of you know we're all sort of open with each other and take no offense if somebody said that bit doesn't quite sound right, or that's not, and we're all sort of there's no one that will be sort of stubborn about it and say no, that's what I came up with and that's not what I'm playing. And we've heard of other bands and stuff where they've had issues with people where they've gone, no, I come up with, I'm the guitarist, I'm the bassist, I come up with the bass, you don't tell me what to do. But with us, we don't have any of that. I can't play the drums, the drummer can't play the guitar, but it doesn't stop us from having that sort of freedom to speak to each other. And I think we'd be a worse band if we had that.
Yeah, I think sort of to add flavour on top of that, sort of following on from where Josh goes, there'll be points where Alex will be humming a bass line. Alex can't play bass for the life of him, but he'll hum a bass line and it becomes a reality. And there's some very good songs out there where Alex has sort of forwarded an idea to Josh. Josh has brought that to life, and it becomes a phenomenal front bass line. There'll be points where in an already existing song where maybe I've not picked it up because obviously I've had to learn quite a few songs that are obviously pre-record already recorded that you guys will be able to pick up on Spotify. But there are also some that appear on like live sets, etc. And like Josh brought one in a song called. Now I'm testing my own knowledge. I've completely lost it. You and I. There we go. So there's a little bit. The lads went away. So Marcus, the synth player, Josh and Alex, went away one night and were sort of tinkering around with some old ideas. Josh came with the bass and said, "I was playing this with a guitar. Why don't you try it?" Showed me the ropes with it. Played it and said, like, try it out. And then that's literally stuck within the song, and it sounds phenomenal. So I think, Josh was originally a guitar player before he was a bassist. So having Josh there, being able to add that collaboration with the guitar, obviously Alex himself with his ideas, and the other lads will hum away and try and, listen to the drummer when he's trying to put a guitar bit in. It's fantastic.
Yeah, well, it's fantastic because I mean, like, all just being able to take it and collaborate and like use that to actually help each other out, it is so productive because like it
So
very definitely
important.
can go the other way and people get overprotective about their ideas and stuff like that. So it's amazing. One final question. I just want to find out, what's one sonic risk that you want to try?
Sonic risk. So
Mm.
I guess the biggest risk any musician would probably do is stopping their whole lives to do this as a full-time commitment. You know, I think that for me is something that I would always take that risk, and I think every single one of us would take that risk tomorrow.
Mhm.
You know, because that risk of stopping, you know, we all work half decent jobs. You know, we're all earning decent money now, and to kind of put everything into your passion, I think that's the biggest risk to a musician. But every musician, if they've got the right mindset, should be taking that risk.
Absolutely. Yeah, fantastic. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for letting us dive into the
Anytime. Thank you for
a
having us.
little peek behind the curtains. Josh, what's you?
Guys, I really want to know what's the most rock and roll thing you guys have done? Because I know you guys now for quite a while now, and I know how lovely you are in this scene, especially you, Alexander. What's the most rock and roll thing Urban Theory have done?
Take the floor, Alex.
Oh, I don't know if I could tell this on the podcast, to be fair. Most rock and roll thing I've ever done. That's a difficult one. I can't. That's you've given me. You've put me on the spot here.
That's when you know it's a
I
good
don't.
question.
Yeah. Can you guys think of an example for me of what I've done that's rock and roll? I don't know.
Oh, what you've done? Are we
Yeah.
swerving? Oh, I'm happy to swerve that. Yeah, great. God knows, mate. I mean, it's a day in the life for you, isn't it?
Just every
Yeah.
day is just chaos.
To be fair, I feel like it's all part and parcel of like rock and.
I mean, does
Do you know what? It's really difficult
does
because
sacking a manager count?
yeah, we've done that. I've we've been pretty rock and roll in the way that I think in a lot of ways we've kind of not listened and swayed away. We've kind of veered away to what Manchester asks a lot of the times, and I think we've kind of been able to read between the lines a lot in Manchester as a band and been kind of like we're not going to follow the same pattern as what everyone else is doing. And I think sometimes it bites us on the bum a little bit, but I think over time we have created something that people can't put the finger on what we are as a band. And I know it doesn't. It's not like a rock and roll story where I'm talking like something like Liam Gallagher would do. I could tell you examples of things that I've done that maybe Liam Gallagher would have done, but I don't want to do that. But it was, yeah. I just think, yeah. As a band, we continue to do what's right for us and follow the ways in which we want to, how our sound wants to be. And
I suppose there's a point in that we've had one or two people who've tried to tell us that how to make music, and generally, with no disrespect intended, that has been met with a firm no pretty much every time that happened.
I think it's so
yeah, we're,
important to keep that authenticity, isn't it? And it's crazy, guys, because there'll be people listening to this. They'll look at you guys and they'll go on your socials. They'll see the raw energy, the sound you have. You're known for that intensity on the stage performance, which people just absolutely love. You've played some iconic venues as well. To wrap up the pod, to finish on, what's the most useful mistake you guys have made in music that you'd want upcoming bands to take note of?
mistake.
I was told pretty early doors when I first started that there's there's um there's a way to creating music, there's a way to writing music, and found out the hard way that there is no rules to it, and there shouldn't be any rules to it. And I think some people have also followed that same advice and found out the hard way like us. So I think for anyone starting a band now, I would say that there are no rules to making music. You just do it and do whatever feels right for you. Push yourself out your comfort zone a little bit, but there is no right way of making music.
I love that. It's great advice to hear because people will get bad advice, and just hearing that from people who've done it before, I
Honestly,
think it's just critical. Guys, everyone listening at home, go check out Urban Theory. Honestly, I hope you guys are bringing out new music soon because desperately, desperately, I
we
want to
definitely are. we're actually in the studio on the 28th of December, straight after Christmas. This year has been a crazy year. We've had a lot of letdowns with recordings. We were supposed to release an EP this year. However, things outside of the circle of the band affected that, and we've got a lot of room to make up from this year. It's been a lot of changing, a lot of developing, and you know, in a way, we were very upset this year that things didn't work out in the way of releases and opportunities. However, I do believe that it's made us a better band in the way that we've brought a new member in. We've got some new music that's absolutely unreal, and the next bit of music we will be releasing will be a new single about Manchester, funny enough. So yeah, keep your eyes out, and yeah, I think you'll like it.
Well, I'm gonna everyone listening at home, I'm gonna make sure they do it. I'm gonna check in with them and make sure they get the music out. Fellas, it's been an absolute privilege having you on tonight. Thank you for coming on Let's Start a Band, and we'll see you next time, guys. Thank you.
Thank you very
Pleasure.
much.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very